Good morning. You're watching Halton News on your TV. I am your host for today, Melissa Candelaria, filling in for Jessica Kading. In the Halton region, as of today, we are down a little bit from yesterday's update. We've got 57 active cases right now, 25 deaths reported, and 730 recoveries. You can see the cases by municipalities, with Burlington having the most cases, but not by much though, as Milton is just behind. Now, Halton Hills has the least active cases, but has reported the most deaths compared to the others. If you want to keep track of these numbers, you can always go to the Region of Halton's website, halton.ca. Right now is the end of the school year for students right across the province, including right here in Halton. And so we wonder what happens next. How are they going to be supported over the summer, and more importantly, coming into the next school year? We spoke with MP Anita Anand this morning, who talks about two programs in particular that might help.
Many young Canadians are facing an unprecedented challenge in the wake of COVID-19, and I am so empathetic of their situation, having been a professor of law for 22 years and having 4 children of my own between the ages of 19 and 23. And so the problems that students are facing in the midst of COVID-19 are very near and dear to my heart. Whether you're recently graduated or were looking forward to starting your career, or whether you're still in school and counting on summer employment to pay tuition, these are all issues that we as a federal government have been thinking very hard about. And in that vein, we have introduced the new Canada Emergency Student Benefit, which will support students and recent graduates who aren't covered by the CERB, in order to ensure that they are able to continue their studies and pay tuition in the fall. And we're also helping students gain valuable work experience and serve their communities through the new Canada Student Service Grant, and by making changes to expand the Canada Summer Jobs Program, which employs 70,000 students every year. So what we're doing is also proposing additional tuition support measures, including broadening the eligibility for student financial assistance. And our hope is that these significant new supports will help young people get through this crisis and play a central role in ensuring that Canada emerges from these challenges stronger than ever.
Now, to continue the conversation with regards to youth and students, with me on the line right now is MPP Effie Trianthophilopoulos. Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to talk to you today about the recent announcement by our Premier, and it surrounded this Youth Opportunities Fund. So thank you again for joining us, and let's talk about what is this fund all about?
Thanks, Melissa. Happy to be on the program today. Yes, today the government announced $13 million for the Youth Opportunities Fund. And the purpose of the fund is very much focused on improving the well-being of children, youth, and their families, and help them overcome certain social and economic barriers. It's also to help better support racial and marginalized communities.
Okay, so let's dive in a little bit deeper into that. So talk about what that means in terms of a couple of examples of those programs that you listed. Why did the Premier and the government decide that these were important initiatives to invest in?
Well, the initiatives are very much focused on community building. And so the funds are going to be going to grassroots organizations who are best able to ensure the funds go to the right kinds of organizations. So in this particular fund, we've got 43 groups who have been the recipients of these funds. And they are all grassroots community organizations focused on youth between the ages of 12 to 25 and their families. So one example is an organization called Black Moms Connection. And the funding there is going to be helping Black mothers address financial literacy. Because financial literacy will very much help them and their families going forward. So that's one example of where the funds will really help at the grassroots organization level. We also want the funding to be able to help youth, for example, develop skills in schools. We want to be able to help young girls and young women be able to become leaders and have that confidence to be leaders. And we want to address racism and discrimination. We've been hearing a lot about that lately in our news, of course. So the programs are really meant to help the next generation of community builders and leaders.
So how then do they go about, taking advantage of these initiatives? What happens?
Well, the program is an annual program. And so for those organizations that want to apply for the 2021 funding, that programming will be available in the fall where applications can be made. But the 43 are the ones who were granted these grants for this year.
I guess maybe on a personal note, just to get your perspective on this, given that the climate that we're in, it really is, you talked about a little bit there, important to really invest in the youth and the next generation. I mean, we talk about, getting rid of systemic racism, more opportunities in terms of education. We'll talk about what this means to you personally as our MPP.
Well, thank you. Actually, that's a good question to ask me. Well, I myself am someone that came to Canada as a very young child. I have a Greek heritage, and inevitably, when you're a newcomer to the country, and when your family also, doesn't have the usual skills, whether it's language skills or other things, it's a lot harder for you to integrate and become part of the mainstream community. And so a lot of these supports are really to address some gaps that might exist. For example, one of the grants is also going to help Francophone African newcomers to Canada also be able to integrate in the province of Ontario. These are examples of where sometimes communities may be marginalized through no fault of their own. It's a question of how you help to integrate at the community level these communities so that they actually are able to embrace, frankly, a wonderful life that we have here in Ontario as Ontarians.
Wow, that certainly it's definitely it's nice to see that little insight into what your experience was. I'd love to talk to you about this for the next hour, but we actually have run out of time. So I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us again on the program.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. All right, we're going to continue on this conversation about students. Now, it's graduation. People are obviously celebrating in a different way, and Mountain View residents up in Halton Hills did something extra special for the students that are working in their facility during this pandemic. Fit for Prom, as you can see, Mountain View residents transformed their facility to show their love and support for these students. Don't worry, they celebrated safely within their bubble, and it was so nice to see everyone get into the spirit of prom, including these two.
There's not a thing that I would change, because you're amazing, just the way you are.
Fantastic singing, you two. Now, it looks like these students certainly felt the love and felt special. Meantime, when I spoke with MP Anita Anand earlier today, she too wanted to send out a quick congrats to graduates across Halton.
I really want to congratulate the class of 2020 and wish them the very best of luck. I am so attached to the student community and really hope that they have been able to celebrate at the very least virtually this year, and that they're looking forward to the next stages of their careers.
Well, we here at Your TV certainly wish all the graduates the best as well. And hey, let's not forget the students finishing school this week as well. You did it. Now go enjoy the summer. Okay, we're going to take a short break right here, but we will be right back with more local news. Don't go away. Welcome back to Halton News. Giving back continues in these tough times, so it's no surprise that two local organizations are grateful to receive care packages so they can continue to accommodate the increasing need. The Salvation Army Kai community in Milton received a generous donation Wednesday from the Care for Cause Foundation. Care for Cause is a sister charity of the Tiger Jeet Singh Foundation. President Tiger Ali Singh says 2 years ago they branched out to create Care for Cause based in Brampton in order to serve a wider community.
That whole thing was meal programs, everything like that, even covering the cost of funerals for those that have lost a loved one in this pandemic. So to date, over 40,000 meals have been prepared and delivered all throughout southern Ontario. Milton here being the first in Halton, which we're hoping to continue and build on it.
Care for Cause delivered 600 packages in the GTA, with 100 being dropped off here at the Kai community. Pastor Peter Hickman says these packages will go a long way.
The increased need, I would say, was maybe 10 to 15%. We serve, before the pandemic, it was about 340 households. Now it's about 375. We recognize it's connections like this that help us to remain open and have our doors remain open. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without support from the community and Tiger Jeet and the foundation.
Kai community wasn't the only stop on the agenda. Halton Women's Place also received care packages. Care for Cause President Gurpreet Pada says being able to give back is a calling.
You know what? I sleep very easy at night. I've been in business since I was 15 years old, and my whole life I've worked so hard. And when the pandemic came, I thought this is a perfect opportunity to devote my time financially, be there for people that need support during these difficult times.
Now, getting back to Tiger Ali Singh, he is no stranger to the spotlight, and if you're a wrestling fan, you may certainly remember him. But it is because of his previous experience that shaped how he wanted to do something to contribute to his community.
Obviously, being former wrestlers with WWE, my dad being a legend in Japan, we got to see a lot of hardship. It was through Make-A-Wish and all of that. So once we, segued into our next part of our life away from wrestling, I still wanted to continue on that. That's why we created the foundation. We get so much more joy out of life giving happiness to others than actually going and trying to monetize. And I've been through private jets, I've been through big cars and all that. But that's a temporary satisfaction, but then you're gone back to ground zero. This lives on forever. Giving happiness, seeing a smile, like we just finished a huge long line of people in need this morning, and them coming and saying God bless. Them coming and saying, I haven't showered for a month, but this is going to help me. That moves you beyond words. That's the reason we do it.
We at Your TV recently put out a call for viewers to submit names of community members who were going above and beyond during this pandemic. Burlington's own Beth Martin was named as one of these local heroes for her selfless initiatives. Nikki Wesley has that story.
Burlington Together is a Facebook group. It has about 7,500 members from Burlington. And the idea initially was to provide a place that filled the needs gap. So at first, when the pandemic started, the charities and the city, it was such an immediate change that there was sort of this gap in people needing food or people needing necessities, diapers, baby stuff. So we were able to sort of set up almost like a swap where someone could post if they needed something and other people could share if they had something. Toilet paper, Lysol, we all remember that fun. And then it became flour and yeast, and now it's just more of a community site. We do food collection, we do grow a row, and then other community members are able to share their charitable projects as well. And it's been a great community. A lot of people have come together.
But Beth didn't stop at creating the online community. She set up a food bank donation bin right outside her house, but that still wasn't enough.
Well, when this pandemic started, I was thinking about ways that I could help the community, because initially I was involved in the PTA or the parent council at my kids' school, and we do a lot of food support through the school. And I realized when school was canceled, essentially, those food supports kind of just disappeared. So I was thinking of ways that I could involve the community in an easy sort of like not too many barriers to entry way to help people who might need food support. So I was asking people if they're growing a garden this year, if they are home gardeners, or if they have a community garden plot, to just set aside a little bit for the food bank and then donate it when it's ready for harvest. Most people don't know that you can donate produce to the food bank. It doesn't just have to be non-perishable, and they will happily take it. They would prefer if you drop it off in the morning and to call ahead to let them know that produce is coming, so it doesn't sit in the donation bin for too long and it's still fresh and lovely. And if you drop it off in the morning, they will be able to put it in meal kits that are going out, like food kits that are going out that day. So it's like direct to people who need it, which is fantastic. And you're providing a very healthy support pretty easily, because most of us end up with so much extra harvest anyway. You have like 1,000 tomatoes. What are you going to do with them? Well, you can donate them to the food bank.
She even got a secondary space specifically for Grow a Row at the community garden.
My personal produce is not quite ready yet, but we do have gardening space outside of this garden at Central Garden in Burlington, where we have been able to donate a fairly large amount of lettuce so far. It's one of the earlier crops. So that feels really great to see that come to fruition and have people donating fresh produce from their own garden. Hopefully I'll be able to do the same with mine. We will see.
How does it feel to have been named as a local hero during the pandemic?
And when I found out I'd been nominated and won, I was so surprised, and I was thrilled, obviously, but I was surprised.
Beth has teamed up with local businesses to sell Burlington Together t-shirts. $10 from every t-shirt sold will go directly to the Burlington Food Bank. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
Oh, let's take a look at that downtown Oakville Beach there. We are a day away from the weekend, so let's take a look at our weather forecast. Tomorrow we've got 29 degrees, but with the UV it's going to feel more like 32. Tomorrow night it'll cool down to about 19, if you can call that cooling down. Saturday there's a risk of some thunderstorms at a high of 28 degrees, feeling more like 34 though. Sunday 29, we get the sunshine again at 29 degrees, feeling more like 32. And Monday 30, Tuesday 31 degrees. I mean, minus Saturday. That forecast is kind of perfect to head out for a tan, maybe frolic in the spray pad. Well, good news for Burlington residents. You can actually do just that as of tomorrow. The city of Burlington announced their spray pads will be opened. Also, outdoor pools will be opened on July 13th. And they've had redesigned, actually, their summer camps as well. To ensure crowd management, all programs and pool use, including lap and rec swims, will require pre-registration payments. There is no registration, though, to use those spray pads. And as for summer camps, full day snap camps for kids ages 4 to 10 years old will be held at the Harbor Recreational Center, Brant Hills Community Center, Tansley Woods Community Center, and Aldershot Arena. Performing arts camp for kids ages 9 to 15 will be held at the Burlington Performing Arts Center. Now, camp activities will include outdoor games, crafts, of course, art, nature-based activities, and there are strict protocols the City of Burlington wants to assure you that you'll have to follow in terms of dropping your kids off at these camps or heading down to the pool and the splash pads. For more information on what those protocols are and to sign up for any of those programs, you just have to go to burlington.ca. Okay, here's a look at how the stocks are doing right now. We're going to take a short break right here, but on the other side, more local news. Don't go away. Welcome back to Halton News. Stratus Building Solutions has been doing their part to help local businesses reopen by offering complimentary weekly disinfectation, to their clients.
So the
Cleaning, especially in this day and age, is very important that our building maintains a clean environment, especially with all the COVID going around and extra germs, just to provide safety for our students, our staff, and our community.
Stratus Building Solutions President Shafiq Mohammed recognizes how important proper disinfecting is when reopening a business during the pandemic.
Stratus is part of the Burlington community, the Burlington Hamilton community, so we want to get involved and help any businesses we can, not-for-profits or even daycare starting off. We understand how tough it is to start a business, open a business, and especially when you've been shut down for so long, is sometimes you don't have the financial resources to do what needs to be done. So we like to help out in the community.
Stratus has been offering a free deep cleaning for not-for-profit organizations like Food for Kids to help them get back on their feet.
You want to make sure that your staff and your customers are safe when they come in and they feel safe. So they make sure that if there is any bacteria or any viruses, that it's killed. Well, we recommend to come in and do a deep clean at first, to make sure that we have cleaned every area of the establishment, and then we do a disinfecting. There's 2 styles of disinfecting that we use. We call the high touch point, where we'll go using a UV ray or the keyboards, as well as wipe down areas that are the high touch points, doorknobs, light switches, door handles. And then from there we would also do a fogging or a disinfecting using a electrostatic gun. And we go walk around, we fog the place down. It kills any germs in under 5 seconds and dries within 8 to 10 minutes.
One thing LaRoche appreciates about the Stratus process is their environmental cleaning products around her students.
So you don't want to expose them to extra chemicals that they don't need to be exposed to, and having a cleaning system that reduces the amount of chemicals and things that can cause damage to children, young children, adults, anyone, is not really effective either.
As the province moves through the phases of reopening and businesses look to welcome their customers back, companies like Stratus will only get busier. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
And that's all for Halton News tonight. For more information on our program, you can always head to our website, yourtv.tv. From everyone here at Halton News, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.